Good morning. Today is day 3, another chill day. Victoria's going to hang out in the room and rest. She does not feeling well. I'm going to go down there to the Point State Park and do some exploring. I'll meet you down there. All right, so since the dining room is closed today, it's closed every Monday, by the way, for future reference. We didn't get any breakfast, so I'm a little hungry. Before we start our adventure out into the park, I'm going to drop into the Sly Fox Tap Room, which is right next door here, and see what they have to offer. Right about the Sly Fox Tavern, I ordered nachos with chicken, and I also got a Nathan's hot dog with chili and cheese, and it also comes with potato salad, so we're going to try that out. We're going to have that here shortly, let you know how it turns out. To do the hot dog without getting any on us. Let's see how that works out for us. Tastes more like a brat than a hot dog, but it's delicious. And I'm hungry, so I'm going to tuck in. Alright, so the nachos have a cheese sauce on them, not really a melted cheese. We'll see how it tastes. Right, just got done eating at the Sly Fox Tap Room. It was okay. I would say I got the Nathan's hot dog. That was a 9 out of 10. I want to give it a 10. I can never give anything a 10. There's always something better, but it was a solid 9. I think the nachos were about a 7. Potato salad's about a 5. So averaging out, I'd give it about a 7 for the food. But the staff was really pleasant, and the music was outstanding. So we're going to give them an extra 1. Rate them 8 out of 10. All right, well, our next visit, over to the Point State Park. Let's go. All right, here we are at the ground level of the state park. Definitely not as easy to see things as they are from up in the room, but nonetheless, here we are. Now, the point here is a jut of land, which forms the confluence of the Allegheny from the northeast and the Monongahela River from the southeast, where they meet up to form the Ohio River, which then heads to the Mississippi. Now, this has been a strategic location since well before the founding of our nation. It was actually a fort founded by the Brits in the 1750s. The original fort was called Prince George. It was then taken by the French, also in the 1750s, and they built Fort Duquesne over the top of it. And then, as the French were forced out, they destroyed Fort Duquesne, and Fort Pitt was built by the colonists. Now, Fort Pitt was actually the western headquarters of the colonial armies in the Revolutionary War, and George Washington has been here a number of times. We have 4 of the 5 bastions of the fort represented. We're going to see the music bastion pretty quickly here. We've also got the flag bastion. We've got the Ohio bastion, and the Monongahela bastion, which is on the other side of the overpass, and that's also where the museum is. So we're going to take a look at the music bastion. We're going to walk underneath the overpass and see the reflecting pool, and then we're going to go to the museum. All right, let's go. All right, we're standing at the point of the music bastion. You know, it's funny how small this kind of looked from above, from the 19th floor. But on ground level, this thing is actually pretty substantial, size-wise. You can imagine, though, back in the day, why this was such a strategic point. Because basically, you can get here directly from the Gulf of Mexico. Go right up the Mississippi to the Ohio River, right up the Ohio, then you have access to the Allegheny and Monongahela into the inner belly of the colonies. Super strategic. All right, we're about to go under the overpass and see the reflecting pools. All right, so this is the reflecting pool. This on either side. There's no water in it. I suspect it may be a seasonal thing. Noting that we're just coming out of winter into the spring, there is no water. But the patterns on the stones are cool. The park is lovely, set on 36 acres here in this central part of Pittsburgh. Just a thing that makes it iconic in the city. It's lovely. If you look across the Monongahela, you can see, I believe it's designated as Mount Washington. It's just a massive ridgeline, which again accentuates how strategic this location is, getting goods in and out of here, military in and out of here. It's all got to be done by the river. So you can see why traversing any part of this part of the country was probably more likely to be done by the water, which means anything where you can control the flow of traffic on the water, it is massively strategic, therefore this point. All right, we're about to enter the Fort Pitt Museum and check it out. We'll see you inside. And just to note, if you're visiting, the museum is open from 10 to 5 every day, and it's an affiliate of the Smithsonian. All right, let's go inside. All right, so here we have the Fort Pitt Blockhouse. I don't know what a blockhouse is. I will put something up on the screen to define what that is. But this is the only standing piece of structure from the Fort Pitt era. All right, here we have the Great Lawn and the tracery of Fort Duquesne. We're going to wander out here. This marks the exact site of Fort Duquesne, built by the French in 1754. The fort was destroyed by the French on the approach of the English army in 1758. And in case you didn't pick up what I just said, the fort, much more modest in size, was probably sod and wood, maybe some stone. But it was probably much closer to the point. They've reclaimed some land for the point and the fountain and all that stuff. So probably right here, you can see the Monongahela and the Allegheny both, and look right down the Ohio River, which is behind me. Now the French wanted this because this connected their holdings in Canada all the way to their holdings down in New Orleans in Louisiana through the Allegheny, Monongahela, Ohio River to the Mississippi. So they wanted this to secure their trade route all the way through the middle of North America. You can understand why they'd want that. could literally have a conversation with somebody at the extremist end of this complex. All right, we're going to be walking into an area where it looks like there may be a lot of misty water. This is the largest fountain in America. It shoots water up to 150 feet in the air. And it's fed by what is considered the fourth river, which is the Wisconsin glacial flow, which flows 55 feet underground here. I can already feel the water from here. I'm going to move to the side a little bit. And as we look across the Allegheny here, you have Acrisure Stadium, where the Pittsburgh Steelers play. It's still Three Rivers Stadium in my heart. All right, the wind's picked up, and we're going to walk around the fountain. All right, I'm pretty sure you won't be able to hear me with the traffic noise, the wind, and the fountain behind me. But man, this park is beautiful. It's so much history here, crammed into 36 little acres. I'm here down at the point. This is looking up the Monongahela with the sun sparkling off the river today. Into the wind, looking down the Ohio River. And we have the fountain. And behind it, Three Rivers Stadium. What a glorious place. You know, oftentimes the media talks about Pittsburgh and any of the Rust Belt cities kind of with a mocking, you know, looking down their nose at it. But this place is beautiful. The people are super friendly. I can't say enough good things about my experience in Pittsburgh so far. All right, well, that's it for our visit to Point State Park. What a tremendous little plot of land here for history, for reminding us about things that maybe we don't want to be reminded of, but should be. We're gonna head back to our hotel, which is right there. When I say we, I mean me. And I don't know, man, maybe do a little editing, relax a little bit.